When you buy a Roland V31, 51, or 71, you get a free 6-month subscription to the Roland Cloud, and you can install expansion packs and play around with them. I found it confusing to just read about them online. You couldn't really tell what I was hearing. They're beautiful sounding recordings they have of them, but you don't know what kit you're hearing precisely, and you kind of like to have more detail on the individual drums. So I wasn't even clear how many drums you got. Turns out you typically get between 2 and 4 kick drums, 2 snares, and then a collection of 4 to 6 toms. Those recordings vary somewhat between the drummer position and the producer position, so they are different recordings. Then they create a selection of 7 or 8 drum kits from those basic recordings and all the sounds that are in your sound module. Not all the sounds, but many of the kits use existing sounds from your sound module. So this is going to be a long video. I want to go through the basic recordings. That'll be fairly fast for both drummer position and producer position on the 50th anniversary kit. And then I want to pull up each kit, play a very short section, and then look at what's in each of those instruments. And we're just going to look at what they've put in the layers. We're not going to look at all the V-editing and all the EQ. It would just take way too long. But it should give you a good idea of how they constructed each of these kits and what they sound like. So if you find this useful and you want me to do other expansion kits, let me know. If it's so boring you just never ever want to see another one, let me know that in the comments too. I'll save my effort. All right, let's get going. All right, so we're starting out with slot 5 has the DW 50th producer, and slot 6 has the drummer position. This is going to make it easy for us to just step through the sounds. And then let's go down here. All right, so this is a user kit. I think I've got everything tuned down to 0. I do, and then I've turned off all of these compression settings. So now as we load sounds in here, you kind of know what the baseline is for these sounds. And we're just going to use the preview button to do this. Let's go to the instrument. Let's start on the kick. I'll go all the way down. There's the kick. Go over here. And let's start off here. Okay. And slot 5, 1. So this is a nice view of what's here. So these are the various kick drums you've got. So you get 2 from the producer position and 4 from the drummer position, and they are not the same. So let's close and let's take a listen to those. Starting with slot 5, number 1, number 2. Now we're on to the slot 6, the drummer position. And that's what the 4 kick drums sound like. I'm going to change triggers. We'll go over to the snare. And we're on slot 6. Let's get up to slot 5. So there's the wood snare. Oops, sorry. Try and hit soft and hard. Edge. And now we're on to slot 6, the drummer position. And that's it. And let's go to the toms. And we'll do all the toms on this one setting. So we're on slot 5, tom 1 for producer position. Sorry. Tom 2. Tom 3. Tom 4. And then we'll move on to the drummer position. Tom 2. Tom 3. Tom 4. And let's just pick one. Let's pick Tom 2. And to max it out, and then let's go up to Tom 2. Okay, just to compare one of the toms between the 2 positions. All right, so those are the basic sounds you get. And in addition to that, you get kits. So the first one in the producer position is the standard kit. So we'll very briefly play snare, tom, and kick. kit, and then let's look at what's in that. We'll start with the kick. So that's the second kick, and they put a little bit of snare, 34 dB down. They put the edge snare. Started with tom 2, tom 3, tom 4. All right, let's go to the next kit. Punchy 50. And that, excuse me, every time I have to reach around the camera, I tend to bump it. So there's kick 2 with a Tama maple. The wood snare with a pure steel. Yamaha mahogany with tom 2, so that's Yamaha's tom 1. If this one's tom 2, and then 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and 4 and 4. And now in each of these kits, by the way, they can be changing all kind of things in here. So we're not looking at that, we just don't have time. I just switched between tom 3 and tom 4, and you can see they've changed the tuning. Okay, Studio 50. Here's the kick, number 1, the wood snare, tom 1, tom 2, 3, and tom 4. Legendary 50. Hat. Kick 2 with the jara. The edge snare, starting with tom 2, 3, 4, and 4 again. I don't notice, but so that's tom 3, and it's using tom 4, and tom 4 is using tom 4, so they almost certainly just tuned them differently. Okay. Stadium Rock. Okay, lots of reverb. But sounds are their own so the DW, the one you already own, maple kick, along with this one on kick 1. The wood snare, then toms 1 through 4. All right, casual beat. The second kick with a Tama Jazz and a Sonar Maple Tom 3. Pure steel mixed in with the edge snare. Tom 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Heavy 50. That's it. Okay, the 50th producer position 1 with a Gretsch maple, and then the edge snare with a Gretsch maple snare, and now they've got Gretsch in slot A maple, and the DW 50th in slot B down 1.5. The Gretsch is down even further. Tom 2. The 3 with the Gretsch 4, and 4 with the Gretsch 5. All right. And that's it for producer position. We're on to the drummer position now. So the standard kit. Okay. So a snare mixed in with the 4th sampled kick, the the edge snare, and then toms 2, 3, and 4, and yeah, and again, right, using tom 4 for tom 3, and using tom 4 again on tom 4. Limited edition. Alright, the Gretsch Maple Kick with the third sample from the DW kit. The Maple Shell snare with their wood snare. The Pearl Maple Shell. Tom 1 with a sonar tom 1. Tom 2. Tom 3. And tom 4. 50 years. The 50th 3 with a Yamaha mahogany, wood snare with a concrete, and toms 1, 2, 3, and 4. Warm 50th. Giraffe with number 1 sample. Concrete with their edge. Gretsch Maple with theirs, both T1. So they went to the T4 on that one, and the T5 on the Gretsch, but they used their T3 and T4. All right, let's go to the open 50th. It's a close mic kick with their kick 1, wood snare with a Gretsch poplar, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Live 50th. The third kick with a Babinga kick from Tama. The edge and the wood, so both snares layered together. Sonar Maple with the 50th on tom 1, tom 2, tom 3, and tom 4. The tight 50th. Okay, so the second kick with a Sonar Maple with a little bit of snare in there. The wood snare. With Ludwig acrylic in A and their tom 2. So Ludwig acrylic tom 1, because they tend to be kind of low with their tom 2. Tom 2 with tom 3, both tom 4s. And both tom 4s again. And the 12-ply hybrid, the last kit in the drummer position. Okay. Not far enough. There we go. The 1K kick, snare, tom. So really, maybe the purest kit there was right there. And if I haven't mentioned it, yeah, way up high, there's aux 4. They'll often put something from the kit. So in this case, the edge snare. All right, and I think if we turn, yeah, that's it. So that is the Gretsch 50th anniversary drummer and producer position.